All right, what's up? Avi.Turner here. We're just gonna get right into it. This is a very important episode to my series. So, as far as now, we all know that there's a huge shortage in air traffic control, but I will be talking more of the pilot shortage. So, in the U.S., it is expected to hit a peak shortage of 24,000 pilots in 2026, which is marketed as the worst point in the current cycle. This is by AirAdvisor. This is a very important, this is a very serious, and especially this is a very notable source. And the shortage is mainly driven by the mandatory retirements at age 65. And I'll say this a lot, most pilots are not that young because, there's been less and less people trying to learn to fly because of the cost, which gets into this. It takes years and 100K to become a pilot. So that's very important to mention. But we're going to touch up on this a little bit. Air traffic control shortage is probably the scariest one because, yeah, we don't have people to fly, but air traffic control is the one that keeps everything, stable in the air so you don't collide with another aircraft, so you don't crash into other aircraft. That's their job. They control everything as far as like pathways and airways, telling, hoping, telling and guiding the plane to point A to point B. It's not all the pilot or the co-pilot. It's them. And as far as that, air traffic control applicants top 8,013 hours, that is a minimum of 8,000 people. That's not a lot per 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 FAA facility. It's just and it's ooh. They want to hire 9,000 air traffic controllers, but here it is. It won't be enough to do anything. And this was like last year. Okay, this was August. This was 2025 that they're saying this. So it's been happening for the past year, and they're getting so desperate to the point where 100,505K is going to be the average annual salary after 3 years. Hold on, excuse me. Okay. Average annual salary after 3 years as the agency prepares for 8,000 applicants, which is unheard of as far as air traffic control. So, oh, this is just it's insane. It's insane. It's very scary. FAA facilities are understaffed with controllers working up to 6 days a week in mandatory overtime. And this is from the Washington Post. So this is reputable. The US is short thousands of controllers and training has high failure rates. So obviously they're not getting applicants that are willing to adjust, and maybe training isn't it's definitely not as successful as they are willing to wish. But the government is even targeting gamers for recruitment. So basement dwellers, they want basement dwellers to help with air traffic control systems. As I said, as I said earlier, they want average Joes to work for air traffic control. And they want, bro, I'm gonna be so for real. They want average Joes. I mean, gamers. It got so bad you have to ask upon like people that sit on the game all day. They're asking for 2K players, COD players. They're not asking for people that play Microsoft Flight Simulator. They're not asking for people that fly planes on the game. They're asking for like gamers that play like Overwatch. That's bad. You're asking for average Joe to control one of the most important systems that is on the planet. That's crazy. And This has caused major delays, cancellations, and safety concerns. So that's already a problem as far as you wanting to go on vacation. And this limits how many flights can operate. Even if here it is, even if planes and pilots are available. And it just gets worse. Because globally it's even worse. The industry needs 1.46 million new aviation workers over the next decade, including pilots, technicians, cabin crew, so people that work on the plane, ground and airport staff. Travel demand is back above pre pandemic levels, which was catastrophic, and aircraft fleets are expanding rapidly. So that means they continue to get new aircraft, but they don't have people to staff it, maintenance it, and fly it. There's gaps everywhere. Now the real world effects. This is oh man, real world. I'll get into that. I'm about to get into that. Flights costs cuts. Flight cuts due to staffing shortages. Examples: airline trimming schedules. That's from the Sun, and that's a news outlet for aviation. That's a notable source. Longer delays and cancellations. So that trip to Egypt, I don't think you're gonna be getting that anytime soon, or at least it will be a while. Higher ticket prices and airport. Oh my god, bro! Airline tickets are already crazy depending on who you're flying. So even the Spirit method, flying Spirit, is not gonna work because there's nobody to fly it. So even those prices will be jacked up. So good luck trying to fly cheap. And overworked staff, fatigue concerns. So that means people are going to start quitting more because there's so much stuff that needs to be filled. So that's an even worse problem. Uh, it's just rough. It is very rough. But the bigger picture is this is the largest pilot shortage that there's been pre-COVID since COVID, and air traffic control continues to get worse with the lack of with training going wrong and the lack of staff, and the demand continues to rise as you know with population concerns and the wanting to travel a lot, fleets increasing, and it's projected to fully resolve into oh my god, yeah, I wrote 2030s, so a decade. So it's going to be so it's going to be rough, and that's by AirVisor, as I previously mentioned. They're a notable source. But I'll say this: it's not temporary, definitely not. It's just it's the lack of talent that is allowed to be brought into the industry, and the lack of it's just too many constraints. It's how much money you need to put into it just to be a pilot, just to even be allowed to fly for certain airlines, and it's harmful to the industry because you're letting only a certain couple people in. You're missing, like, hey Joe, he may not have the money, but he definitely knows how to fly. And I feel like, it's unfair. Which, how does this fit into my capstone? um I like to make a statement as far as African American pilots. Of course there is a lack, but the reason why for that is the lack of representation, which I previously mentioned in my other video. And the reason why there's so much, and the reason why to the shortage is the lack of diversity. And I understand, it's a money thing too, but it's that lack of diversity that is really affecting this foundational infrastructure. That is the problem. That is the main problem. And it's not all the industry's fault. As this guy put it, Mr. Igwa, I talked to him earlier this year. He told me, as African American, normally we don't see, piloting as something that we can normally do. We see the ball players, we see the entertainers, the rappers. We say, hey, I want to do that, and we don't normally talk about the history of other mediums that doesn't just include aviation, but science and stuff like that. So I feel like as for us, I feel like we do play a part in that. But it's that lack of opportunity I continue to talk about. There is no opportunities for people that want to be pilots and for potential pilots that don't even know that they can be, because there's so much talent in these low income neighborhoods that I've seen before, I've lived by, I've talked to. Not all of them are knuckleheads like they try to push on the media, and that racial undertone, like, oh, the lovable black guy, all he knows how to do is sing and dance. He's not too smart. He's naive. He's ignorant. That they continue to push in media, and they continue to push in media that all he'll ever be good for is ball. Oh, he can't fix the problems. But I'm saying for real. I don't mean to go on a tangent. I'm saying for real, it's that lack of opportunity that has really, hurt black aviation. Because there does exist black aviation with the legacy that we've had and the ingenuity that we have added to the medium. And I feel like, as far as African Americans, we have so much, we could do so much, and we can give better innovations, and we can solve this problem. That's how I say we solve this with more diversity and more black representation in aviation. We can fix the air aviation shortage of 2026, of the 2020s. We could fix it. We could fix this before 2030. We don't have to wait for 2030. We could fix this in 3 years if we just give more people the opportunity to fly. It should not be that. Listen, there are black people that own their own airlines. There are black people that own their own airlines. And I feel like the old heads need to be doing a better job as far as teaching the youth and giving the youth examples of their story. Because, as I previously mentioned, if we don't get these levels back up, bro, nobody's gonna be able to fly. And I really don't think like this shortage can be solved by the 2030s, because with there's a war going on. That's a very important thing. Just in America, I feel like with the war going on and already this air traffic control staffing crisis and the aviation shortage, it's not going to get solved in 2030. I don't think it's going to get solved in 2030. So that's why I'm saying, if we just give more opportunities and start throwing money at people, man. Start throwing money at people. You give somebody some money, they going to do it, all right? Just throw some money at somebody. Like I said yesterday, throw some money at somebody. Please. This is for the fate of the nation and the fate of the world. If we just invite more African Americans, not only who want to fly, because people like that do exist. They do exist. I'll say that. Especially at DSU and places like Alabama. People like that exist. But we also educate the younger generation on African Americans and their history in aviation. We can solve this problem. We can fix the shortage, because already we are a very low percentage. I forgot what the percentage is. I think like point eight, near point like 10.8. I think somewhere around there. But this is scary, man. It's this is why diversity is so important in a lot of things. If you just have one group of people, there is going to be, massive shortages. And this is what's happening with the aviation world. And this is why I get so frustrated, because there is so many smart minds in the African American community, and we just don't allow them. And it's been like this for decades. We all know this. Decades. century, ever since we got here. We don't give them we still don't give people like me the platform, and we continue to undermine and put rope us into this group of people that not all of us want to be. Not all of us want to be that. There are black pilots that are sitting there trying to make their opportunity, trying to get their way, and they're still being. And I'll say this: these airlines are pushing people back. They're not letting everybody in because with training, it is so time consuming and especially expensive. This stuff is not free. I have said this millions of times. This stuff is not free. This stuff will never be free, no matter how dangerous this stuff gets, no matter how desperate they get. It will never be free. This is why we need to give more money. We need to throw money out to people and say like, hey, if you come fly for me, I'll pay you such and such. And not no trash wage, not no trash 50K wage. I'm saying like 150K, because billions of dollars are being thrown into this industry with Boeing and American Airlines and stuff like that. People are never going to stop flying that. People are never going to stop needing Boeing planes, even if the planes keep falling out the sky. Matter of fact, how about we have more black aviators that can fix that problem? How about we do that? How about we throw some money at somebody? Hey, fix the problem with Boeing falling out the sky. That's that problem scene, which I might get into that in a later video. That's another very important topic. But I'm about to go. It's just this is frustrating, man. And people want to travel and stuff like that. Look at what's going on with the aviation world. If I'll say this, I'll end it on like this. If you just throw money at people, scholarships, and I don't mean to be vague or throw money at people. I'm saying scholarships, community activism from the old heads that have flown. And I'll say this: they don't have to be black. Okay, they don't have to be black. It's cool. They could be Caucasian. They could be Hispanic. I don't care. But go into these communities with these young black minds, with not only the kids that want to be pilots, or the kids or the teams that want to be pilots, or some of the kids that may not know a lot about aviation, but maybe it will pique their interest. More often than not, it will. Maybe, or more often than not. I'm sorry if I'm tripping over my words. It's like I said, it's frustrating because this is such an easy fix, and it's hurtful for the nation, man. But I'm gonna leave it off at that. Like I said, more scholarships, more opportunities. History needs to be taught. Tuskegee Airmen, Bessie Coleman, everybody should know about that. There should not be a second thought about those people. Okay? You shouldn't have to think who those people are. All right? But as always, support your local black pilots, and I'll see y'all later.